The 1970s weren't just about disco balls and bell-bottoms. The streets themselves were fashion runways. It was the decade when color exploded, hems rose, heels towered, and America decided blending in was overrated. Every street corner felt like a magazine cover, every mall like a fashion show. It was a time when even ordinary days felt like Saturday nights. So grab your lava lamp, crank up the BGs. We're walking back through 10 unforgettable fashion fads that made the 70s shine. 1. Platform shoes. The higher you go, you could hear them before you saw them. The thud-thud-thud of 4-inch platforms stomping across a linoleum floor. These weren't shoes, they were stilts with attitude. Every sidewalk became a balance beam, every dance floor a gamble. Women wore them. Men wore them. And everyone prayed they didn't twist an ankle. But fashion wasn't about comfort, it was about drama. Disco lights shimmered across those chunky heels as the Bee Gees played on, and for one glittering decade, America walked tall. Even kids tried on mom's platforms, wobbling down hallways pretending they were on Soul Train. But if you thought those heels were bold, wait until you see what happened when the hems got shorter. 2. Hot pants, scandal meets freedom. They weren't shorts. They were suggestions. Hot pants took modesty, set it on fire, and left nothing but confidence behind. Denim, velvet, satin, barely there and everywhere. Moms wore them, college girls strutted in them, even waitresses served up burgers in them. They turned sidewalks, malls, and roller rinks into catwalks. Some called them empowering, others indecent, but either way, you couldn't ignore them. Hot pants weren't just a fashion trend, they were a declaration. We're done blending in. They were youth in motion, glitter in daylight, and rebellion wrapped in fabric. And when comfort tried to catch up with confidence, along came the clunky king of the decade. Hooks, the clomp heard round the hallway. Straight out of Scandinavia, clogs clomped their way into every American home, hallway, and homeroom. Wooden-soled, heavy, and loud enough to wake the neighbors, they were the sound of the 70s. They weren't graceful, but they were honest. Easy to slip on, earthy in tone, perfect for the back-to-nature movement sweeping the decade. Teachers wore them. Teens wore them. Even dads gave them a try, carefully. They made every school hallway sound like a stampede, but hey, who said comfort couldn't be dramatic? You could hear a classroom full of clogs before you even opened the door. But for pure courage, one tiny piece of fabric ruled them all. For tube tops, a leap of faith and fashion. No straps. No safety. Just elastic and courage. The tube top was less clothing, more test of faith. Every girl who wore one knew the risk. One sneeze, one wrong move, and it could all go south. But wow, did they own the decade. Satin, terry cloth, rainbow stripes, and confidence. They screamed freedom, rebellion, and summer heat all at once. For teens, they were cool. For parents, scandalous. For everyone else, unforgettable. Tube tops weren't fashion, they were a dare. They were sunshine, music, and mischief rolled into a single strip of fabric. But while some dressed for risk, others went for pure luxury. 5. Shearling coats, cool never looked so warm. Heavy, hot, and smelling faintly like a wet sheep in the rain. The shearling coat was the status symbol of the 70s. Lined with plush fleece, worn by rock stars and rich kids alike, it said one thing: I've made it. Whether you were cruising down Sunset or freezing in a Boston winter, shearling made you look like a movie star. It was impractical, expensive, and absolutely iconic. You'd see them at concerts, in record stores, and on every celebrity photo spread. That coat wasn't just for warmth, it was for presence. But not every trend was about money, some were about fit, and one brand nailed it. 6. Dittos pants, the cult of the perfect fit. Not jeans, dittos. High-waisted, form-fitting, and unmistakably 70s, dittos hugged every curve like they were designed by geometry itself. That heart-shaped yoke on the back became legend. Girls collected them in velour, corduroy, and every pastel shade imaginable. In school hallways, at roller rinks, under disco lights. If you had dittos, you had confidence. They didn't just fit your body, they fit the moment. And when you paired them with a sparkly halter or a crop top, you weren't just following fashion, you were writing it. But once you had the pants, you needed something shiny to throw over them. 7. Poodle skirts twirling through the 50s. They spun like dreams under neon diner lights. Felt fabric, stitched poodles, and a swing that made jukebox songs come alive. Every twirl caught the glow of chrome bumpers and soda fountain smiles. It was freedom stitched in pastel, a swirl of innocence in motion. Girls would press them crisp on Saturday mornings, saving their best twirl for the hop that night. You didn't need a car or a date, just the right skirt, a ponytail, and a nickel for the jukebox. Those skirts weren't just fashion, they were rhythm, rebellion, and a little touch of Hollywood glamour. They danced through drive-ins, skating rinks, and first crushes, carrying the heartbeat of a generation that believed the future could only get brighter. Even decades later, moms kept them folded away, reminders of nights that never seemed to end. And as rock and roll got louder, the fabric started to shine, and America stepped into a whole new kind of sparkle. 8. Peasant dresses and blouses, the boho dream. While disco raged, another trend whispered instead of shouted. Flowing sleeves, embroidered cotton, and skirts that danced with every breeze. The peasant look was part poetry, part protest, an escape from the synthetic flash of city life. It was soft, romantic, and defiantly natural. Perfect with sandals, perfect with clogs, perfect for pretending you'd just come from a folk concert. They weren't about standing out, they were about belonging to something peaceful. A quiet rebellion against plastic, polyester, and pressure. And just when fashion thought it had seen it all, TV brought color to your shoulders. 9. Rainbow suspenders. Thank you, Mork from Ork. Leave it to Robin Williams to turn suspenders into a sensation. After Mork and Mindy hit the airwaves, kids everywhere wanted rainbow straps crossing their t-shirts. They didn't hold up pants, they held up personality. Silly, bright, and completely unnecessary, they were the joyful chaos of the 70s in accessory form. You'd see them on playgrounds, in yearbook photos, and at every costume party. They made people smile, and sometimes that was the whole point. But the decade's final fashion statement was one piece that tried to do it all literally. 10. Jumpsuits, one zipper, endless swagger. If the 70s had a uniform, this was it. Part disco chic, part mechanic, all confidence. Polyester, denim, velvet, it didn't matter. Zip it up, add a belt, and suddenly you were ready for Studio 54 or a car tune-up. Celebrities performed in them. Teens danced in them. The jumpsuit was equal parts ridiculous and revolutionary, just like the decade itself. Because in the 1970s, you didn't just wear clothes. You wore attitude. You wore music, movement, and the magic of being alive. Speech balloon, what do you remember most? The poodle skirts, the jumpsuits, the ditto's pants, or that feeling that life was just beginning? Tell me in the comments below.